to federal politics now, and a senior Nationals MP is calling on the federal government to create a $250 billion loan facility for the mining sector. The Resources Minister, Keith Pitt, has made the demand as a condition for the Nationals to support net zero emissions by 2050. In an interview with me on the program a bit earlier, Mr. Pitt said he believes the targets should not cost the ag and resources sectors anything.
This is an industry, in terms of coal specifically, that's employing 300,000 Australians. We've seen Australian banks walk away from the sector for, to be honest, no good reason whatsoever. They've included metallurgical or steel-making coal in the cabal that's not providing finance. I'd be much happier to see Australian banks financing Australian jobs.
That was Keith Pitt at the Gladstone port. Now, I was joined a short time ago for reaction to that by the Deputy Labor Leader Richard Marles. I began by asking him for his reaction to the demand for a funding facility for mining by Keith Pitt.
Well, I think the first thing we've got to hear is from the federal government as to whether they support it. I mean, what this says to me is that you've got a whole lot of ideas going on within the government right now. It's not exactly clear to me what the government's own view of this idea is. And once again, what we've got here is a lack of unity, a lack of coordination on the part of the federal government in respect of how they intend to move forward in this space. So the fundamental question here is whether this is government policy or not.
Mr. Pitt, I spoke to him a bit earlier, and he said that if our banks aren't going to fund this industry that supports 300,000 workers, that the government's then got to step in. Does that make sense?
Well, again, what makes sense is to find out what is the government's actual position on this. So it's not for Labor to be passing comment on the ideas of particular members of the government if we're not sure whether or not this is actually government policy in the first place. And to me, all I hear when I hear a proposal of this kind is people putting flags up flagpoles, more division within the coalition, and a greater sense of uncertainty about what government policy is in this space. And I think that's the point that needs to be answered here. We really need to hear from the government about what its attitude is to its own members' idea.